in place to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same 1%? Trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How are you this evening? On this beautiful Wednesday, March 10th of the year that has been 2021. Hump Day is upon us. The weekend is drawing near. And I hope that your week is going just fine and everything seems to be going your way. So another day, another conversation, another interview. But please make sure you hit that subscribe button and always hit that like button as well. Please and thank you. But tonight, I've got another musical guest, kind of getting away from authors and mental health professionals for a little bit, going back to music, having a little bit of fun with that. But tonight, I have a band that just released a new EP, a 6-song EP this past Friday. And it is a banger. If this type of music is for you, trust me, you will love these guys. They're fantastic. All the links for them are down below, so please make sure you click them and listen to them and everything else in between. But we'll get more into this and a little bit else about the band, because with me right now, I have with me one of the members of the Gary, Mr. David Norwood. How are you?
I'm good. Like I said before, I just walked in from work and decompressing.
What better way to decompress, than talking to me about music and having some fun while doing it, right?
Sounds wonderful to me.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit, say a little bit about the band. We'll kind of get into more, but give me a brief synopsis.
You bet. My name's Dave Norwood. I play in a band called the Gary, and the Gary has been around since, when I believe 2008. And we are very inspired by a lot of post-punk bands like Mission of Burma and Shellac and Fugazi and things like that. All of us are in middle age, well into middle age, and we started just doing this band, thinking it would be just the three of us in our practice space, and it became a little more than that, to our surprise, and it has continued to be a little more than that. And we're based out of Austin, Texas, and that's about it.
Good old Texas.
Good old. About even.
Huh?
I've about had enough of it, but good old Texas.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in the news a lot lately, not for good reasons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, yeah, so I've listened to the EP. It is fantastic.
I appreciate.
Because one of the things I've noticed lately, especially on the indie and underground scene, is the return, more predominant. It's always been around, but more predominantly than ever, that post-punk sound.
Right.
Where, I mean, it kind of went away for a little bit. There's a lot of bands keeping it alive, but not as many as there are now. And it's kind of having this resurgence period. It's kind of this renaissance period, and I'm really digging it, because I was never really the biggest punk guy. I've always been the hardcore and metal guy.
Right.
But, this whole, like I said, renaissance period of punk has really drawn me back in. I mean, there's so many good bands out there. I mean, especially the ones that I've talked to on the show. You know, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with, it's never really hit it big, that style of music, or I think it still has a fecundity to it that uh, there's still a lot to glean from, and it hasn't been entirely trampled on. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a pretty honest form of music to me. Um, you know, it just I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, punk has only taken a mainstream, main attention. I don't want to even say mainstream, but actually, no, it was mainstream for a while there.
Yeah.
If you added the word pop in front of it,
Mhm.
that pop punk, the Good Charlottes of the world and other things
Right.
like that. Those were the bands that, you know, which no offense to any of those guys, they were not punk in any which way, shape, or form. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but
I mean, they were.
they carried that connotation with it. Now people think that that was punk, or the newer guys, the teenagers of the world think, oh well, I've heard of Good Charlotte, that's punk rock, and then they listen to Rancid or something else, a little bit more post punk, and they're like, wait a second, this isn't punk, and they don't
Sure.
understand it. Yeah,
But it's what we do. It's what we like. We're not trying to be anything. It's just the sum of what we listen to and how we play. That's just it's coming out of us with no airs whatsoever. It's just the sum of what we listen to and and how we like to play, and that's it. And that's how we'll always play. I mean, we're in our 50s now. I mean, we're I guess we're lifers in this. So,
nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Absolutely. And especially in Austin. I mean, as much shit as Texas has gotten lately, Austin is still a predominantly music town. I mean, it
Yeah.
is full of music. I mean, there's so much good music that comes out of Austin every year, and it is it's eclectic, but
Right.
it's a lot of rock though, but different styles of rock all over the place. But which is something I love about Austin. I mean, it's because it doesn't follow that well, I'm moving to Nashville to become a country star. It's one
Right.
of those it just does its own thing, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, playing music. Everyone I know plays in two or three bands, and we're these groups of people bumping up against other groups of people, and and mingling, and swapping shows, and it's been. I've really enjoyed the community aspect of living here. Um, uh, I can keep going to shows and keep going to shows and still find new stuff all the time. Granted, I have not been going to shows for the last year, but
So, yeah.
you know, there, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of really bad stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff too, and and there are a lot of people who are in the same boat as us, who are old, like our buddies ST37. Those guys are in their 60s, and still cranking stuff out, and being really prolific, and really inspiring, and they're people who've been living here a long time, who it's just their way of life. They're
Yeah.
not trying to get big or anything, or and there's no big agenda with the band or anything. It's just what you do. It's just what I'm a, what you've learned to do over the years, and you just keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the fact that we're gonna kind of take a little bit of a right turn for a second here, but with the fact that a week ago today, actually, on this Wednesday, it's really Tuesday, but it's Wednesday. A week ago today, Texas governor announced the end of the mask mandate. So
Right.
you guys are pretty much 100% open, pretty much.
Mhm.
So how do you guys feel? Have you guys? I'm sure you guys have talked about it. If you guys got, a phone call tomorrow saying, hey, can you play next Friday night? Would you guys go out and play right now, or are you still guys playing cautious?
Oh, hell no. We're not going to go out there and play for a number of reasons. First of all, my day job is testing people for COVID. And I'm seeing there on the front line, the results of it, uh, as it rolls in, and I just got my hours extended because they know that shit's about to hit the fan again, because I mean, not only, the mask mandate gone, they're going back to 100% occupancy, and 6th Street's going to be, flooded with people, and they're going to try and go business as usual, and we're just going to be in back of the same boat. And what's so aggravating about it is we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, like, if we can just hang on and wear our damn masks for a couple more months and wait for the majority of the population to get vaccinated, then and another thing that as a Texan that does drive me nuts is this hearing well, Texas, you fucking deserve it. It's like,
Yeah, it's not fair.
half of us, there, most of the cities here are liberal leaning or Democrat leaning, and and it's the burbs and the and all the gerrymandering that's keeping the Republicans afloat here in Texas, and so there's a huge chunk of this state who don't like it, who want change, and so I mean, it's important for the rest of the country to know we're not all rugged individualists here. We believe in the common good, and we hope to see it, sometime soon, sooner than later, And we just had the big deep freeze in our electrical infrastructure go down, and that was that happening, and then Abbott's announcement was just a 1-2 kick in the nuts that everyone's just kind of fuming about it,
Yeah.
But I like I say, I test COVID in a small town south of Austin, and so I get the rural contingent there, and people driving by as though we were an abortion clinic or something, protest, yelling at us, and and waving signs and things, COVID ain't real, and well, there's this one guy who likes to drive by with a big big sign on the back of his truck that says, take your mask off, you stupid moron. That's what it says.
Oh my God.
And so we get a lot of that, and so I just think this whole Abbott's decision is going to embolden these people, and I'm going to be dealing with more of them, at work, and yeah, I've got a lot of feelings on it, and it's aggravating,
Oh, I mean, I can definitely understand. I mean, before I dive into more on what you just said, but I want to say, thank you very much for what you're doing as far as being a frontline worker. I mean, you guys don't get enough credit out there. So thank you for that. I mean, that's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, no problem.
But as far as everything else goes, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that, what you said about, there's a lot of liberal leaning stuff, in Texas, which there is. I mean, especially in Austin, because it's, it's very college, it's a very college town. It's, a lot of different things. But like, the only thing that we hear, like, outside of, Texas, because I'm in Virginia, was, days after the mandate was done, a Mexican restaurant, said, hey, you still have to wear a mask in here. And people said, well, fine, we're calling immigration.
Right.
It's like, that's the story that makes its rounds. It's not other people.
Yeah.
It's not the stories about the people going out and protesting or saying, hey, we need to keep the mask mandate. We're, upset people like you. No. We're hearing about Mexican restaurant, saying, oh,
Right.
we're calling, immigration. Okay. What? That doesn't, what?
Have you heard the whole thing about HEB, the grocery store here?
Yeah. HEB's mandating it too, I thought, right?
Yeah, they're keeping their masks. Well, what they're doing kind of like a soft mandate where they're keeping masks at the front of the store starting tomorrow, and they're going to hand them out and say, hey, you need to wear this, you know. At first they were saying that, you know, they are going to require their employees to wear masks, and they're going to encourage the shoppers to wear masks, but they're taking a harder stance on it now. I haven't read up on exactly what they're doing, but last time I checked, they're going to have masks at the door for people who don't have masks. I don't know, but what's messed up is they've kind of become our de facto like emergency system. Like that organization, that business, you know, has become our like emergency, like during the freeze, like while our legislators and, you know, our leaders were twiddling their thumbs, HEB was just like,
or spending time in Cancun.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's just like our grocery store is, you know, our local grocery store is doing so much better than our government. And the other aggravating thing is our government is probably saying, well, that's the free market, you know, and that's how it should work, you know. But
I don't know. I mean, the thing about it is, in the last 30 years, you know, this has happened to Texas now two other times that I can remember. 2011 and 89, if I'm not mistaken. And each time, you know, the power people said, hey, we need to weatherize. We need to weatherize. We can't have this happen again. And they haven't done it yet. And then the first thing that, you know, as soon as this happens, all the Republicans were saying, well, this is the new Green Deal. And, you know, this is what happens when it happens. Like, no, that's, you know, it's amazing just like how things spin really, really quickly in the world. And, you know, it's not one party or the other. It's both parties. And it is.
Right.
And that's the part I'm kind of getting frustrated about, especially, you know, right now in this country is, you know, there's people dying, you know, there's people, you know, cooped up in their homes, you know, mental health is on the, you know, the rise right now. I mean, at last, you know, tally, it was like 1 in 3 Americans are being diagnosed with mental illness every day. Then on top of that, suicide rates are at an all-time high. You know, the jobless rate is still at an all-time high. And all we're worried about at whether it's state level or federal level is which party is right.
Right, exactly.
It's not about the people anymore. It's just, you know, last year was all about the election. I got to make sure I keep my seat. And that was it. It was just, you know, whatever I can do to keep my seat, not help the fucking people. And that's, and it's getting frustrating because one of the biggest things about it, you know, whether it's, especially when it comes down to mental health and just people in general, and social anxiety and all this other stuff, being able to leave your home just to do anything at all is one of the biggest, you know, unless you're agoraphobic, you know, going out of your home, being able to go to a dive bar with your buddies and listen to an acoustic performance on a Friday night, or being able to go out with your family on a Saturday for a movie, or being able to just go out to your local freaking TGI Fridays for dinner. You know, it's one of those, it's a solace, and it's something that you guys we as not you guys, but we as a whole look forward to. And if all we're constantly, you know, but if we can't get back to that, if we're constantly going to be sick all the damn time and dying, and having constant freaking conspiracy theories popping up on every freaking corner, I just want to get back to a point where I can go to a damn concert again. I want to go be able to talk to bands behind the curtain. I want to be able to do the stuff that I'm normally doing. And I know you guys are too. And that goes for all performers. Because, I mean, performing in this country is one of the biggest businesses in the country. You know, whether it's opera and plays to movies and music, you know, whatever the case might be, getting back to that is what needs to happen. I mean, that's probably the biggest priority.
Aggravating about it is like, I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, can they not wait 2 or 3 more months for people to get vaccinated, you know, before, you know, lifting the mask mandate and you know, and like the 100% occupancy thing really blew my mind more than anything. You know, I mean, it's just gonna, you know, they're gonna be the douchebag clubs that are gonna be business as usual, and you know, and I think much of the music scene here is still kind of on the fence about, getting started. So from what I can tell,
Yeah, I
I
was curious about that too.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gets out there and plays and who doesn't, and what audiences will, you know, be formed from that. And I don't know.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, I know for a fact, because this isn't just Austin, it's everywhere. But like, I mean, especially for places like Austin, I'm pretty sure the stage owners and the club owners are scared because, I mean, especially with, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, one of the biggest comedy clubs in the country that was stationed in Austin closed down. So, I mean,
Yeah,
if a place
city.
that big can close
Mhm.
down, I'm sure the small owners are sitting there freaking the fuck out. But at the same time, we don't even know if they're ever going to reopen again at all. They might have closed and just not said anything. And
Right.
that's another scary part too. Is like what has closed or what has gone out of business, and they just haven't told us yet.
Yeah. 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 I've got an 18-year-old daughter, and I think about uh, when I was 18 and what I was doing, and like if I was, if something like what's happening now had happened then, and how it would have affected me. Like I worry about her mental health, and how she's going to be affected by all this. It, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But
Yeah, I have a 19-year-old daughter who doesn't live with me. She moved back to Florida this year,
mhm.
and Florida's just as bad as Texas,
Right.
if not worse. Well, it's probably worse, but I mean, I see the the disarray on her face because it's like everything's pretty much open down there, and they just don't care.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's like she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like,
Right.
I get it, here, we've been going back and forth between stages. Like we're right now in like stage 3, which is like
Mm.
groups of 25 people indoors, like I think it's 250 outdoors, socially distanced.
Mhm.
Restaurants can be open, but nobody sits at the bar, and it's every other table. So I mean,
Mhm.
we're still 50% capacity basically inside restaurants and stuff like that, and there's still the mask mandate's still here. So I mean, it's just amazing to see the different levels of conscious, efforts making by the government across the country. It's just, oh, you can handle that. Oh, no, we can't handle that. Or
Mhm.
we don't want to do this. We don't want, it's just amazing to me.
Well, it happened last year when Abbott lifted a bunch of shit, and then it got bad. It got really bad, and then it's probably going to happen again. But what, man, what what always chaps my hide a little bit is when these people like Greg Abbott, or Rick Perry always says this too, like Texans don't want, or what Texans want is this, or it's just like fuck you. I'm a fucking 6th-generation Texan. Don't tell me what I fucking want. I mean, I want to strangle those guys with their own entrails.
Yeah. Uh, and their stupid bolo ties. Um, but you're not wrong, and it's like I said. I mean, but with everything that's happened, luckily, whether it's over the last year, because it hasn't just been Corona, it's been a lot of stuff that's happened over the last 12, 13 months.
Mm,
Um, it's kind of opened the door creatively for people like yourselves and other bands and
mhm,
other creators in general, not just like bands and stuff like that, but just creators in general, to get to look outside the box and try to make things you know better than they were before, or create expand their creative outlet or whatever the case might be.
mm,
So I have enjoyed that aspect of things, because I used to have a bunch of comedians that I love to go watch live. Well, I can't do that right now, but now they're doing other things. They're creating more online skits, or they're doing Q&As, or going live on Instagram just to fuck with people, and that kind of stuff. It's fun. Or everyone's creating Twitch accounts now, and you can go watch them play games and talk shit and do other things like that too. So there's so much, creatively speaking, that has happened, and a lot of the indie bands out there have taken this as a opportunity to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and put out as much stuff as we possibly can and get in front of the public eye, because the bigger bands aren't doing that. You know, all the other bands, you know, those big bands that actually can collect residual checks are sitting at home collecting those residual checks while, you know, and not doing anything because their label says, yeah, you're not doing anything until you can tour again. But the indie bands are like, hey, now we have an opportunity. And I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here because, like, the indie scene has not stopped.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Yeah, nothing. This isn't going to stop that. I mean, people create because, I mean, people who are creating outside of money, I mean, are going to keep creating, you know? I mean, it's just what you do, you know? Yeah, it's been really cool watching. I got a friend up in Wisconsin. This guy Russ. He has just been like a machine. I mean, just the amount of shit he has turned out during this pandemic is crazy. And you know, it's been cool watching people like that really do it. I have not been quite as productive during it. I have had a lot of issues during it. I went on antidepressants for the first time during the pandemic, and you know, things like that. It's been really tough for me, you know. But you know, in the same, you know, I also write a lot. You know, I haven't been doing a lot of music writing during it, but I've been doing a lot of, you know, pen and paper writing. So maybe something will come of that. But yeah, I'm going to be real interested to see. I think we're still seeing how it's going to affect people creatively, and you know, and how it's going to turn out. I think we're just starting to see a lot of the turnout now, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So first off, I want to go ahead and say thank you for being so honest about, you know, going on antidepressants. Because one of the central themes of this show has always been mental health. You know, the name "Suck It" comes from, you know, is a mental health thing because,
Suck it up.
yes, because people, but I hate that term. So,
Right.
you know, I hate being told to suck it up, you know, because I'm bipolar and I suffer from generalized anxiety disorder and PTSD. And growing up in the 90s as a kid, you know, I was always told to suck it up. And my response to them was always suck it. You know, you don't tell me to suck it up, you can suck it. You know, that's how it is, and that's where the name of the show comes from.
Right.
You know, most people think it's a 1990s, you know, wrestling, you know, anecdote, but it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
But so, you know, that's a huge central theme in this show, and one of the things I absolutely love talking about, because aside from bands, and I talk to authors and, you know, mental health survivors and, you know, other things like that too. So it's a huge central thing. So thank you very much for, you know, coming out with that, because not a lot of people still talk about it. It's still one of those things that's, you know, swept under the rug and not talked about much. But, you know, I've realized real quick on this show, people are always about, you know, ready to come out and talk about it, because it's pretty it's important nowadays. It really is.
And it's refreshing that that it's so out in the open nowadays for, you know, people who have been told to suck it up for so long, and you realize, you know, that's a really shitty remedy. You know, that's a really poor prescription. Suck it up, you know.
Yeah.
But and you know, I you know, came up in the, you know, I was a teenager in the 80s, and and that's just what they told you back then, you know. It was suck it up, and there weren't really any programs, or, you know, I've only recently started seeing a mental health professional, and it's my ADHD is apparently flagrant, you know, and also and there's a whole issue with dyslexia that I was kind of aware of, but always thought that it was something I could get past, or, you know, and so, you know, I think first of all, the woman I'm seeing right now, her name's Elizabeth, who has just been incredible and enlightening, and just a total mental health care advocate. And she's been like wonderful and very important to a lot of what I've been doing. I'm actually being proactive about it, But I it's like I told my daughter, or would used to tell my daughter, still tell my daughter, is I had a horrible time with depression, especially in my teens and my 20s. Just the gravity of it was, I don't know how I got through that, and I told her, you got it on both sides of the family, so never be ashamed to talk about it, never be ashamed to try to do something about it,
Yeah.
because I've been there. And she seems like she's been pretty good about trying to seek out solutions. But yeah, it's still a hard thing for me to talk about, because it's not something I've talked about a whole lot, especially in public.
Yeah.
But I'm a kind of a compulsive journal keeper, and I was reading a passage. I like to read old journals of mine, and I was reading a passage the other day of my, me telling my mother sometime in my late 20s, I guess, like, I think I have a problem with depression. And she said, you don't have a problem with depression. Too many people love you for you to have a problem with depression, So there's a lot of shit like that. Just that.
My grandfather once told me that's what the whiskey was invented for.
Right. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and he died of alcoholism, so it's true. But it's it's something that is, again, still not talked about, because it still kind of has a a dreary overhead rainy day kind of connotation to it. So nobody really wants to talk about it. At the same time, it's more out there than it ever has been. So I'm
Right.
I'm thankful for that, especially like in the entertainment industry. There's so much programming out there and music and movies now about it that were never talked about. I mean, I never remember seeing anything like that growing up in the 90s. You grew up in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s. I'm turning 40 in a month. A month from today, actually. And I don't remember seeing that stuff in the 90s either. It wasn't until the last 10, 15 years I started to see it. And then it's gotten more and more prolific in the last 5 to 10 years. And
Right.
It's amazing, but at the same time it's nowhere near where it should be.
Right.
And that goes for a lot of different things too, whether it's, obviously right now the big hot topic is LGBTQ stuff. That's another one right there. But again, that's related to also mental health and stuff like that too, because, discrimination and shit like that. So there's just so much out there that we need to be worrying about as a society, and not about, we shouldn't have to worry about the coronavirus, right now.
Right.
And
Yeah.
It's
Like it was-
sad.
Or talking about my daughter, like, I can't imagine dealing what I was dealing with back then on top of a virus, Yeah, totally.
I just want to, like I said, I just want to be able to go back to watching movies again, listening to live music, and
Right.
just, going to comedy clubs and doing things that, I know that other people like to do as well. It's gotten to that point now where I'm starting to, it's starting to really take an effect on me, and it's really starting to take a toll on me. But
Yeah.
if it wasn't for this show, I probably would have lost it a long time ago, thankfully.
Oh, great, you got that outlet, man.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. Several. I mean, you're a couple hundred episodes deep into it, right? Or you're getting there?
I'm getting ready to celebrate episode 200, probably in the next month.
Nice.
I have to do the calculation on it. I think this episode is 182, 183. So it's coming up quick.
You're another example of that pandemic productivity.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but but I've loved every moment of it because I mean, in 13 months I've gotten to just about 9 million downloads. So I'm like, hell yeah,
Mhm.
let's keep rocking.
Yeah, great.
Averaging 50,000 downloads an episode now. So it's like okay, things are going well.
Right,
Nowhere near where I want it to be, but it's gonna get there eventually. But
right.
if I was on Fox, I'd be canceled by now. But
Yeah. Oh man, it's still nothing to shake a stick at.
oh
It's
no,
still
definitely not.
good stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have never had this. But at the same time, I would have. If it wasn't for this, I don't know if I would have survived the pandemic too. So it was definitely a win-win for me. But
Yeah.
let's get back to the EP for a second here. Now, obviously, we talked about this, very briefly at the beginning of the episode where we were talking about how, the punk scene and the music scene and indie scene just isn't going to go away during the pandemic.
Hmm.
What was the idea behind putting out an EP now?
Um, uh, I guess it was. Well, first of all, we had recorded some stuff just ahead of the pandemic, and our buddy John, he he's played in some great bands. He plays in Gentlemen Rogues now. He was in Will Go Machete, a bunch of really good bands from here in Austin. He's got a label called Act Your Age, and he he's been cheering us on for years, and he really wanted to put the record out, and we part of us wanted to kind of wait around for a couple more songs to fall out, for a full length, but also I don't know, it just there have been some things going on in the band. Our there's a lot of now or never stuff going on, but our guitar player Trey, there's a song on there called Radical Prostate, and it's just an instrumental. But a couple of weeks before, or a couple of weeks after we recorded it, our guitar player Trey, he had prostate cancer and he was getting his prostate taken out. So yeah, we've been dealing with that, and he's doing good now. By the way, he really, I don't know how the hell he did that, but he did it.
That's good to hear. Definitely good to hear.
Yeah, and he, I don't know. It just seemed like the right time. It just seemed like now or never.
Yeah.
It's really kind of feeling like our mortality is brushing up against us or something. This is not the time to sit on things.
No, definitely
the time to get that shit out.
Yeah. And I've heard that a couple different times. We were getting ready. We were recording prior to the shutdown, and then we just was like, let's not do anything for a little bit, and then we're like, we got to get this stuff out. So yeah, I've heard that countless times over the last year.
Right.
So I can't say I blame you for it. I mean, especially if some of that stuff you were writing beforehand, you're still really passionate about, and want to put stuff out that's not pandemic or shut down or BLM or politically charged out there, which a lot of the stuff that's coming out now is, obviously, because this has been a huge inspiration to people, but at the same time, not having to hear that is also a good thing too. So anything that was done pre-pandemic is, probably welcomed. But
Right.
at the same time, it's been really nice, again, to be able to see the stuff coming out. And especially, it's not, you guys, I can't even talk. Especially when you guys aren't just putting it out digitally. You guys are doing,
Right.
Special stuff with it. Like you guys are putting out a 12-inch vinyl with it. Some
Right.
other bands are doing a 6-inch vinyl. I talked to a band the other day that's gonna put out a special edition cassette tape. So
Yeah.
it's they're doing special. You guys are doing special stuff on top of just saying, hey, the new album's out. And
Right.
I like that because it gives it. We can't go see you, but we can have a piece of you, which is nice.
Yeah, we're actually practicing for the first time in close to a year on Thursday. So that we're meeting at a lake house outside of Huntsville, and we're gonna drink some things, and we're gonna play some songs, and we're gonna fish. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just the togetherness of it,
Yeah.
because music has been to me all these years is togetherness. It's been my gateway to being with other people and communing with them, and due to due to Trey's health issues, and just coming off of cancer and everything, and it just didn't seem like a good idea to be practicing while he was still kind of recovering. So we've been kind of on the fence until Thursday. Then we're going to start practicing again. So, and I'm going to drag out some recording gear and stuff, and we'll see where that goes. So
That's awesome.
we're still very active. It's all we know how to do. It's all we're good at, really.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, the prostate cancer thing is, like I said, I mean, I'm glad he's doing better, but that absolutely sucks. And and it's definitely one of those things where, you're not thinking about your age, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, that just, I can't even fathom that, especially, like I said, since I'm getting to be that age too. It's like I'm turning 40, so other things are going to start,
Right.
falling off. I already have hip and knee problems from all my years of getting my ass kicked in the ring. So, it was one of those, it's one of those things where I'm just like, right. Yeah. So I definitely feel you on that front, but yeah, to have somebody that close to you and that close of age it has got to be scary. So,
Yeah.
I can definitely understand the now or never mentality, but at the same time, when this kind of stuff happens, creative juice is flowing, and also brings that camaraderie, like you were saying before. Camaraderie, and I don't think it's just you. I think it's a lot of different people. Music is a sense of community. You can go to a metal show, you can go to a punk show, you can go to just a hard rock show, whatever the case might be, especially in the rock community. I can't speak for other communities because I don't know. So I'm not singling them out. People don't at me. But I get added a lot on this show. But when I go to a metal show or whatever, I cannot know anybody, and I walk up to the bar to go get a beer, and I swear to God, 70% of the time, somebody will be like, "Hey, let me buy your first beer," and then I pay it forward, and it happens. I would say 70% of the time I go to a show, I get my first beer bought by somebody else, just because I'm wearing a shirt they may have liked, or a tour that they went to as well, or just some type of stuff. And it's so amazing. I love that community. I mean, obviously there are assholes in every community, but the majority of the time, it's so much fun to be able to, meet up with people that you've never met before, and, say, damn, you drove here from Pennsylvania, or damn, you drove here from there just to see that, hey, you're just as big as a fan as I am. That's fucking awesome. Let me buy you a beer. I love that about this, this community. And I miss that the most.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. It's just so much of it's so wrapped up in who I am and who I've been for so long, But I don't know.
Here's the hoping that the next 6 months shows us something. I mean, I'm hoping by the end of the summer we can start seeing some type of light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I mean, I was seeing glimmers of hope, but now everybody's just like jumping all over it. Let's go. Mississippi's now jumping on that bandwagon. Let's go ahead and end the mask mandate, and let's go ahead and do this. Florida did the same thing. Now Texas, and I think North Dakota's talking about doing, or South Dakota, one of the two. And but the Dakotas don't matter anyway. But
my buddy Ike in the band Minutes would disagree.
Oh, okay, my bad. The Dakotas matter. But yeah, we need to get back to some type of normalcy, and that sense of community, I think, is the first step.
Yeah.
We're too broken right now. We're way too broken because we don't have anything everything that that we have right now is meant to separate us.
Yeah, all the disinformation and which is going to take, like, it's become so profitable now and so politically expedient. It's gonna take a long time for us to recover from this, from being lied to and being okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you say that, it immediately makes me think of, like, the things that are just going on outside of politics, of people, profiting off the lie, everyday Joes profiting off the lie, and feeding that and feeding that and feeding that and creating these cultist mentalities, about a lie. And 9 times out of 10, I don't even think they believe the lie, but they see an outlet for money. And, I've been dealing that with a lot lately.
Yeah.
Because I've been the target of hate by a certain cultist group known as the Flat Earth Community. And I've never been shit on so much in my life. And when I thought about this maybe 10 years ago, I'm like, man, if I ever got that much hate by someone, I don't know what I would be able to do. Well, let me just tell you, it has been so much fun laughing at these people. But the amount of, and it's not even, like I said, it's not just them, it's so many others. But you're right. There's so much misinformation out there and so many people profiting off that misinformation that even if they get proven wrong, they're not going to admit to it because that's their stream of income. And again, this is not just politicals. It's everybody. And that's part of the biggest problems because they see, well, this is just an average Joe down the road. I mean, why would he lie to me? I believe why my governor and my congressperson would lie to me, but not Bob down the road. I trust Bob. I've known Bob for 20 years, So I get what you're saying. And I want whatever used to bond us needs to come back to light because what we got going on right now is not helping. And I don't know if it's music. I don't know if it's beer. I don't know if it's movies. I don't know if it's freaking whatever the case might be. It could not even. It might not even be entertainment based. Who knows? But whatever it was, we need to find it and bring it back into our homes because this is getting outrageous. And people like you and me and thousands of other bands and creators and musicians and other things out there right now need an outlet, and there's people out there craving that outlet, and we need to give it to them.
Right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But like we said, the LP is available now. Click the link down below to order your 12-inch. But like I said, it's a fantastic album. I was blown away. When I first clicked it, I was like, let's see what this is all about. And I always go into it with an open mind. And this LP, the Fallow, is pretty badass. And I can hear just the passion and everything else like that, and it's just amazing.
I appreciate that.
No problem, man. So guys, again, the link to order the 12-inch is down below. You can also click all the streaming links for them down below as well. And all their socials and stuff like that is available as well. But, Dave, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. Hope we meet in the real world someday.
I hope so, too. If I ever make my way back out to Austin again, get some damn good sausage and barbecue, I'll have to I'll have to hook up with you, man, because, I'm always about, meeting the people out in the real world.
Yeah.
But again, dude, thank you so much, man. You're amazing. The band is amazing, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us, having me.
Hey, not a problem, man. But for the rest of you guys, thank you so much for being here on this Wednesday. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, and always stay fucking heavy. We'll see you guys later. Peace.